It's my feel-good breakfast show.
A very good morning and welcome back to you. This is your Feel Good Breakfast Show. We're live on this Monday morning on SABC3. Now, the global fight against gender-based violence, which receives, of course, an intensified focus during the 16 days of activism for no violence against women and children that started on Friday, is one of that is often, sadly, begins at home. And here to chat to us about that and how to deal with issues of consent within relationships is our relationship therapist and expert, Dr. Eve. Thank you very much for being here with us, Dr. Eve, this morning. But firstly, let's catch up with our Expresso couples to hear how they handle it when their partner is reluctant to be intimate.
Hi, I'm Afsana.
Hi, I'm Peter.
And we've been dating for over 2 years.
Hi, my name's Quaid.
Hi, I'm Cameron, and we are dating for 3 years in April.
Hi, my name is Oluetu.
I'm Zoe.
And we have been dating for 1 year, 8 months.
Intimacy in relationships is important. How do you handle it if a partner is reluctant to be intimate?
I think you have to be very sensitive of your partner's needs as well as yourself. So you can try different things, you can talk about it, but generally, I think if you treat the other person as you would wish to be treated, you're going to get it right.
With Cameron, I'm definitely honest about how I feel sexually, and we definitely discuss that if we have urges. If Cameron's tired and he's not feeling, I'll just let it go. I'm not going to force him to do anything that he doesn't want to do at that particular moment in time.
I like to talk about things, you know. I don't believe that there's anything taboo if you're in a relationship. So in terms of discussion, you know, so if you want to know something or if there's something that you don't like, you feel nervous about, ask. We can discuss it.
Yeah, I think the most important thing there is to actually get to the bottom of it. If you do think it is an issue, then I mean, you obviously need to ask each other. We need to ask each other. What's the what, why? You know, it could be just issue of tiredness or not in the mood.
All right, and that's what our Expresso couples had to say. And of course, we do encourage you to give us a call. Our lines are open, and that number is 083-9133-728. Do call us with your questions or any comments that you might have regarding consent within a relationship. And that's what we're talking about, Dr. Eve. We're focusing on 16 days of activism against violence against women and children. And right now, what we just heard from our couples right now, talking about intimacy in a relationship and what we do when there is a lack of intimacy, when there perhaps might be confusion whether consent has been given or not. Because even within a relationship, consent is an essential part of it. It's a very important part of it.
You just get 10 out of 10 for saying that, because a lot of people think just because I'm in a relationship that gives me carte blanche to have access to intimacy whenever they want to, and they don't. What I want to start out with and say, Kat, is that we're not talking about intimacy where there is a desire differential, where one person in the relationship is seeking intimacy more frequently than what the other person does. That's not what we're talking about today, because that is like every couple struggles with that at some point or another, and they do learn to negotiate that. We're talking about the really serious issue where people get very confused as to what yes is and to what no is. And then the taken for granted of because I'm intimate, I'm actually entitled to be intimate with you all the time. It's almost like my right. So we have to set aside patriarchal belief systems that because I am married or in significant relationship with you as a woman, I have a right to your body. And because this is 16 days, we're really pushing the agenda around, no, you don't have a right to do this. So we're talking and we're inviting our viewers to talk to us about the difficulty in negotiating consent in a relationship and how to say no and mean no, and how to say yes and mean yes, because men and women get really confused about this issue of consent and what signs do we give out when we are really willing to be intimate with this person at this particular time and when we're not. And it gets really confusing, because that's when women are saying, I actually was raped. And if you ask the same cohort of men, they'll say, absolutely did not rape this woman at all. I really felt that she was giving me consent to be sexual with her. And we know that this leads to a whole lot of pain, a whole lot of problems in society in general. So we really, I'm really excited that we're talking about this issue of what consent looks like and how do men and women know when a yes is a yes and a no is a no. So there is a stereotypical idea of women being very passive and women always saying, no, I don't really want to be sexual. And men believing that it is almost their obligation and responsibility to convince the woman.
An invitation of sorts, if you will.
An invitation, which is a big responsibility for a man. And he's the one who has to initiate, and he's the one who has to make sure that, that sexual activity happens. But in the meantime, he's thinking her no is just her shyness and her protecting herself as a woman. And so he pushes and he pushes and he pushes through because he thinks that's what my job is. And in the meantime, she just gives in because she thinks that's what women have to do. And then she says afterwards, actually, I really felt like I was violated. And he's incredibly confused as to why did this happen? I thought, this was an okay thing to happen.
Yeah, I think you kind of nailed it in the beginning there where you said it's all about abandoning patriarchal beliefs that we've, fostered over years and years and years. But of course, we'll continue with our conversation. And our lines are open, 083-9133-728. We're talking about consent within a relationship. Please give us a call with your questions or your comments. We'll be back again with Dr. Eve shortly.